Chrome roses, some nice looking cyberpunk in the model of Judge Dredd. Let's take a look.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everyone, it is Tom. It's FANzine Live. This is Chrome Roses, which is a crowdfunded zine, a successful crowdfunded zine by the gentleman named Monty Nero. He is out of the UK, and this is a classic cyberpunk style science fiction piece that I don't think we could get from an American creator. The cultural underpinnings of Chrome Roses and this version of cyberpunk, in my mind, comes so much out of the world of Judge Dredd in 2000 AD. And that's where they come from over in the UK. Here in the States, we come out of Superman, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Batman, and the like. It's a different world. It's a different way of writing about comics and writing about characters and what we're used to seeing. And Monty does a good job doing this. It's printed in the UK, handcrafted with ink on paper in Dundee, the sunniest city in Scotland. Wondering how sunny it truly is, overlooking the banks of the Tay. This is probably not an all ages book. I would probably put it in the, PG-13 style stuff. So be aware. Monty is very big on making sure that people know his work is hand done. I would probably guess by what I'm seeing, especially as it relates to the coloring, that what we have ink line work scanned into a computer and then the colored textures being added over the top, which is fine. Starts with, it's got 2 chapters in this book. First one is Eat Molten Death. He does a wonderful job that not many folks can pull off, which is setting up his world and his universe very quickly. In most cases, it takes a few issues to kind of get into the world. I won't lie, I actually have had Chrome Roses on my review list for maybe a month now. And so I've had to go back and read it, but then something gets in the way and I have to review that, or I have to do a video on this or whatever. So Chrome Roses keeps getting put aside. And as a result, I've had a chance to read this a few times in anticipation of doing a video. I think it actually helped my reading and my interpretation of the book because you get a ton of ideas and content thrown at you right at the beginning. For example, we'll just do these 3 captions. When the drink-o-matic committed suicide, I knew things were grim. For one thing, I needed my decaf, no sugar, no calorie, choco mocha, cocaine latte to start the day. And all of the other sitchware had gone on strike. That's a lot of world building in 3 little captions. And you just get a fire hose of it right at the beginning. However, and maybe it is because I've read it a few times, it actually works. I am very impressed by that. The other thing I can't help but mention is in this very nicely made comic book size, small paperback graphic novel, gorgeous matte cover, glossy-ish interiors, his coloring work is really neat. He is largely black and white, but then he uses spot color for the glow effect, and it's really cool. I love how these eyes, the lights on these eyes, they glow outside of the rectangles where the lights are. You can see the ovals of light. That's a really slick idea. So there's all sorts of concept work in here. The long story short is this is if you will, a freelance cop. That allows him to play into the Judge Dredd world. This person has a backstory. He is largely a cyborg now. He still has his brain, but more and more he's a mechanical person. Wow. Look at that. This reminds me so much of Frank Miller's Ronin, where he would have the landscape shot with the giant monstrosity of a building in the middle and just the massive humanity around it. This was the section of Ronin that Frank Miller was really clearly doing an ode to Mobius. And so I think you could probably say that we've got a little bit of that happening here. So is Nero doing an homage to Mobius? Is he doing an homage to Miller? I'm not sure. You could pick worse for either. Notice also the speed lines, very reminiscent of the manga style. However, and it looks to me like he's using markers on his speed lines, which is pretty slick. Like these would be alcohol markers. This is all being done manual. I honestly think that the only thing that he is doing shading and color-wise is the lights, the blue and green lights. Everything else looks like it's being done with alcohol markers and ink. So yeah, we're back here, and he is awoken out of his slumber, off to a job, checking something out, like the foreboding of the page, the guy going down the dark tunnel. And then he finds these people in real rough circumstances. And there appears to be somebody who is now on the run because our protagonist found them. Nice action shot. It would have helped probably to have one more of these figures, because this is the same person jumping into the motorcycle, those, I don't know what you would call it, into the vehicle. Look at these action lines. I mean, this is visceral stuff. Love the 4 panels here. That is really slick. Or I guess 5 panels going all the way through. It's a lot of fun. And it ends up to be continued, of course, in book 2. Then he shifts gears. Does a pinup by another person, Alex Cipriano. Then he switches gears altogether to Who Needs Memories Anyway? It's basically the story of this person who gradually becomes more and more of a cyborg. And eventually becomes that creature. Yeah, who needs memories anyway? And then you get another pinup. And this is helpful, a fact file, which really is a glossary. And we need that as much as we can because there's a lot of new content in this. Monte Nero did a nice job with this book. I would have liked to have seen the full story within the first issue. I think for first issues especially, it's important to have that resolution with a little bit of a lead in to future issues. But it always helps to start with having the full story laid out so that you can read it and feel satisfied. Because yes, this is a huge cliffhanger, and it does make you want to come back for more. But I would have liked to have had just a little bit of a resolution. Gorgeous work. Monte Nero does a good job. What do you think, folks? Cyberpunk, the Judge Dredd ethic of futuristic cop work in dystopian literature. Any thoughts on this stuff? Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to FANzine Live. And of course, tell your friends, because the more people who learn about Chrome Roses, the more people will enjoy yet another brand of comics. That's it for now, everybody. Thank you for watching. This is FANzine Live. We looked at a crowdfunded book called Chrome Roses today. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you again, and have a great time. I will catch you next time.